Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good day.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day. We're back. We had a little bit of a hiatus for the religious festivals because it was a little Passover, Ramadan, Easter stuff going on that we were all celebrating because we're both very religious peoples. And it's good to be back.
I ate a lot of chocolate. Is that a religious thing?
Yeah.
That's what Jesus did. In the cave.
Did the Easter Bunny come round for the first time for the little one?
No, because that would be ridiculous because he's not at an age where he can participate in any of these things. So thankfully, my pragmatism is still, it has some sway in the house in some instances. Yeah.
You got to do the little bunny footprints when you start when he gets old enough.
How is he going to recognize what a rabbit's footprint looks like?
Because you will look at it and go, oh, it's the Easter Bunny's footprints.
Say that.
Parenthood is built on lie after lie after lie.
Why don't we add into this then the lie of the Easter Bunny is magic and he doesn't leave even any footprints? There you go. Just save myself half an hour.
Because it's more fun.
I'm uncomfortable with the lying. I don't even like lying to him now. You know, he's one, and thankfully he doesn't have a lot of questions. But even now, I'm like, I don't like this lying thing. Which I realize I'll have to change because, the Christmassy things and the Easter things, but also when he asks that first sex question, part of me, the science part of me, just wants to get in with diagrams. Just to give him the full age 18, this is what you'll know. Like, he's going to learn it at some stage. So come on, have a look at this, son, website. So I probably won't do that.
No, well, you always give him the chat that my father gave me, where he basically said, you know what to do. And that was it. And it turns out they didn't.
So he was wrong about that.
He was wrong about that. But that covered everything for me. So it's all right.
It's a minefield, isn't it? Because I'm rewatching all of Frasier just because it's, I've got it on the server thing. I can watch that. And it's the thing that I can put in the background when he's playing around. But the theme tune addresses some difficult sex issues. You know that dum ba dum 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 ba dum.
Yeah.
Baby, I hear the blues calling, toss salads and scrambled eggs. The line, I got you pegged. I don't know what
it was a different time.
It was a very different time.
It was a different time.
I mean, I've done phone-in radio, and I've never done that. On line one, who's going to pop round later on to be sorted out? No, we don't do that.
But that was like when we used to poke each other on Facebook. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. All these weird sex. And also, I remember there was when you used to go around and fillet someone, which was some sort of remove the bone. Is that?
Uh-huh.
That's
exactly what it was.
I might have spelt that wrong. Oh, God, no wonder I got thrown out of chef school.
Was it at the Tesco chef school?
No wonder. And that's why I'm banned from Tesco chef school.
Well, there we go. So we've caught up now, and I'm sure people have been really entertained by our witty banter, but we're here to solve problems as only comics can. And that's the purpose of our show. Whilst you're watching, make sure you can hit the like button, smash it if you want. You can subscribe to the channel, and you can do what few have done lately and contribute to the show. Let me I've blown the dust off the Ko-fi link.
If anything, it should feel more special, because if everyone's doing it, then that's just common. But it's so rare.
That's true.
You would be a rare
Be
person.
one of the few.
Yeah. Top 1%.
Keep us going. Or pay us to stop. Either way, your donation would make the difference. So there we go. But I'm going first, aren't I?
Yeah.
With news today. Well, this is something that the wokerati have done now. Look at this headline. New bill to ban certain topics from Tennessee college campuses.
Ooh.
Look at that. That's what the woke are doing. But turns out, actually, it's not the woke agenda, because what they want to do is ban the woke agenda from universities. They basically want to ban teaching that could highlight an individual having virtue by their race or that sex is inherently privileged. So basically, they are passing laws in Tennessee to say that you can't talk about things that make white people uncomfortable. And these are the same people who are worried about cancel culture not being able to make them talk about things. So they figure the best way to address that is not to talk about it, but to ban it altogether. So it's a perfect loop of stupidity. We're uncomfortable because we're being asked to talk about our white privilege, so let's ban the talk about our white privilege, and we're back again.
Yeah, and why do you get to enforce the ban? Because you are privileged. It's a privileged position to enforce.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So I don't know where people will fall on this, on the whole, because we know a lot of people that are very passionate about anti-wokeism and cancel culture and that kind of thing because they've become more famous after being canceled. And
any day now, could happen to any one of us. Fingers crossed.
I just wish. But yeah, I mean, I think that it is a good idea to limit the topics that are discussed at a university.
The word university, I think, means studying very few things. It means not a lot.
Yes.
It's narrow. It's all about narrowness.
Reinforcing the current homogeny. Is that the right use of that word?
No, not at all.
I thought I could do a run if I did a run up at it.
Yeah. I'm not even sure homogeny is the word. Homogeneity definitely is, but
God, is that a word that you say different? Homogeny.
No, homogeny.
That's definitely a word.
Homogeneous. Homogeny. Here we go. A marriage between people of similar sociological and economic background.
So I was right.
Did you mean it as a marriage between people of similar sociological and educational backgrounds?
I meant it as a marriage of ideas.
It's also in biology. It means inbreeding. Was that what you're going for?
This is in Tennessee, so yes.
Whereas I think homogeneity for the other one, but even then,
I don't know. Is that kind of like the time I said opaque on live television? Not really sure if I used the right way.
That was during one of our Edinburghs, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Because I got a message from you saying I just used the word opaque on TV. What does it mean? Feels like it's a bit late by then, but
it was live. It was live on the BBC.
Wow,
this issue's a bit opaque.
It's the homogeny of opaqueness.
It's the homogeny of opaque ideas that they've brought to the university. So that's almost correct, isn't it?
No,
the marriage of ideas that are
hard to see through,
unclear.
Yeah. Did I tell you that when I was at university, I didn't study properly for one of the marketing exams, but our lecturer who was marking the exams, this is really cruel, but was really not very good. English was her second language, and you could kind of tell it was going to be, look, better than my second language, which is Klingon. But so when it came to writing in the exam, I did pages of way too many big, long words. But all of it was about expediting the homogeneity, the sesquipedalian verbiage. I filled it with that and got like 86%, and there's no way I knew the topic. So I filibustered my own exam.
So how would that apply in this story? So that topic should be banned now, do you think? They shouldn't have...
Yeah, well,
if you got rid of that subject, because you weren't interested in studying that.
True. Which is weird, because it's marketing. If ever there's a course that they should be able to sell to you properly. I would say just use big, long, fancy words when talking about all of those issues, and then no one will spot that you're doing it. I mean, I disagree with some of the things you said. Firstly, that sex is a privilege. Whenever I've had sex... Yeah, the rest of that joke. And I can't remember what the other terrible pun I was going to do off what you said, but one of those.
That's all right. That's good. I mean, one joke in the first 15 minutes of the show is important to have. So there we go. These people are idiots, and it's just astounding.
Yeah. Well, my new story has an idiot theme to it.
Oh, good.
Ooh, so moving on to more idiot-related problems that we can try and solve. Guess who's back? Back again. Yes, she's back. Tell a friend, Liz Truss. Boo, boo, boo. She's back. and she's in Washington. She's been in Washington doing speeches and whatnot. This is, what's the opposite of a farewell tour? Because somehow she's doing the "I've not gone anyway" I'm difficult to flush tour. I don't know what it would be called, but she's still blaming everyone else, which is impressive. Because if I tanked an economy, and it could happen, I'd probably just lay low for a while, just like, a bit awkward. Whereas she tanks an economy and then goes, and it's not my fault. Previously, she blamed in her speech the anti-growth coalition. All these people who want to stop her growing stuff, people who want to have inflation and a bad time and huge, things like that she delivered. People want that. Apparently, they want no growth. They want absolutely no prosperity. Weird, isn't it? But there was a coalition of people. Well, now in Washington, she was blaming it on the anti-growth movement. It's got bigger. It's grown. She thinks that the anti-growth people have managed to grow. So no wonder she thinks it's time for her to step up and make a lot of sense out of all of this. So, I mean, even if you think her ideas were right, and I'm sure I've said this before, even if you believe small government, small taxation, all of this stuff, at least we can agree that empirically it didn't work. The way she did it was flawed. So stop making out that she's the hero. She's done a classic victimhood thing. Like, my idea was brilliant, but the fact that it failed was absolutely everyone else's fault. So enjoy your massive mortgage payments. But I could just sit here just saying like, oh, and she's stupid as well. No, I'm doing proper research because I'm clever at all this stuff. I'm not just going to look at the Spectator article. The Financial Times reported on this, saying that the UK gilt markets return to normal as idiot premiums, seems harsh, subsides. And an end to soaring yields and forced selling under the Truss administration should make it easier to issue new bonds. And I would say Idris Elba would probably make the best one out of all of the ones, even though he says he didn't want it. So there you go, proper research. I do know what I'm talking about in these things. Turns out the anti-growth coalition is not the only thing that people need to worry about. There's another one, and Rishi's on the front page about it, saying that adults should be able to do maths. That's the latest movement again. And are you sure about that, Rishi? Because with 10% inflation, but food prices going up by 18%, if people did maths, we'd be rioting by now. And don't get me wrong, I love maths. We've talked about this before. It's my favourite hobby. I love a bit of maths. But even I think it's not going to sort out the economy. Like, everyone's talking about how AI will replace proper jobs. If ever there's a thing that a smart computer will do, it'll be better than maths than you are. So let's not worry about it. There was a story about how AI is going to revolutionise dating. There's a bloke who's trying to use AI chatbots to teach people how to date. I actually have worked out to cut out the middleman. Just get ChatGPT access to your DMs and just instruct it, just flirt with these people and see who's up for it. Next thing you know, it just gives you a list of addresses. So, up there thinking. But Rishi was saying that there's an anti-maths mindset. Anti-growth was the previous one. Now our new villain is anti-maths mindset. And Rishi talking about an anti-maths mindset really makes me think he was bullied at school. Oh, you like maths? I'll get you. And to be fair, he has. He's become a billionaire and then become PM, and now he's going to force everyone to do maths and see who's stupid for knowing calculus now. That headline, by the way, the subheading says, PM urges Britain to prize numeracy, but critics say such talk counts for nothing. That's a bloody good pun that they didn't think counts. That's, And what's the other thing it says? Without funded plan. What's the point of funding it? No one can do maths.
Nice. Well, some editor had fun with that.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think this story is probably what we talked about last time it was in the news. It's just a distraction. Let's talk about maths so that people who hate maths get all angry like Simon Pegg in a car. People who love maths feel all upset because Scotty says he hates maths. And it just means that we end up having radio phone-ins where old people show off their times tables and no one talks about the actual stuff like migration and the economy. Things that if you did know any of the numbers, you'd find it thoroughly appalling.
Like, here's a mathematical formula for you.
Yeah.
A high number of asylum seekers against a low number of people processing their asylum applications.
Interesting.
Solve that equation.
Yeah. So we're talking about two different rates. So we could use differentiation. You're right. We'd have to.
We should buy some barges. That's the answer.
That's the answer. Let's have a row about how dare you say that barges won't work because you are just a wokerati. Why do we keep falling for these side rows? Crazy.
Just the growth of the barge industry is driving this economy.
I I mean,
growth of the barges.
did you see that? We don't have a picture, but did you see the picture of the barges? They were actually a lot bigger than I thought, because when someone says
Yeah.
barge, I think of narrowboats. And I was like, Jesus, that's 500 people in one of them. Turns out they are a bit bigger.
Yeah, there are different sizes of barges. I would have thought you would have known that.
But no, my barge knowledge is small.
But I find people's connection to the sea on an island-based country to be severely lacking in a shocking way.
Yeah, but why would if you enter the sea, you'll end up in a foreign country. And if there's one thing that we Brits have historically not liked, it's weird though, isn't it? That for some reason this barge thing, it seems borderline cruel, right? This is how bad this country is at building houses. Even when the motivation would be to screw over migrants, which a whole lot of right-wing people would love that. Yeah, let's build more places and make it not really nice. We still can't build houses then. We have to buy in barges. And literally, this nation has a well-known idiom, I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. And then we're actually going to treat migrants in that way. We might as well literally send them to Coventry. That would be cruel.
Oh, but it'd make Coventry nice for a change.
That's harsh. Terrible university.
True. The guy you got that in there at the end. Terrible university. They're lovely. Yes.
I'm glad we agree.
Thought I had something else in there, but it was gone. So before we bring up the next slide, I should have had a headline to do the first part of this story, but I don't. So before I get to the slide itself, I think we all know about the leak in the U.S. with the young man who basically worked in IT, and he was stealing information and top secret data about Ukraine and U.S. allies and all this kind of stuff, and then sharing it on a Discord account with his other incel friends to impress them. And so basically he's been doing this for ages. His friends weren't impressed. There was 20 of them in this Discord group, which my son is going to explain Discord to me later on today. But it's like a chat thing. And so basically his friends weren't impressed enough. So then he put it on a different server so that more people would notice. And then these people did notice, these people called the FBI. And they turned up and, of course, have arrested him. So I think it's fair to say that this young man, whilst a bit of an idiot, was doing stuff that were traitorous because he's sharing state secrets. He's going to be tried under, I think, the Espionage Act. And it's generally not a good idea to share state secrets, or else you get the FBI. You would think that's pretty much, in the world today, maybe because we're so left and right on every possible issue, that this would be a clear-cut case of young man does bad thing. Young man shouldn't do bad things when it comes to the national security of a country like the United States. And you think that would bring together both the left and the right, Democrats and Republicans, to come together and support that as something you should not do. And of course, you can tell by building this up for such a long time, but the point that I'm about to make is that there are people that are making this a left-wing, right-wing issue. And now please give us evidence A, a tweet from our favorite, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, if you don't know who she is, you are a lucky person. She's the Jewish space laser lady, and she's got a lot of power in the current Congress because they need the far right in order to maintain power. She's come out and said that this young man is a white male Christian and anti-war, and that makes him an enemy to the Biden administration, and basically said he's not the real enemy. So she's a member of Congress, basically siding with someone who's giving away state secrets. You would say that she's an idiot, and a lot of what she says in there is wrong. However, that would be unkind to idiots, because not only is she defending the guy, but if I can have the next headline that I should have had first, why this leaker had access to the data. So you'll notice there, his name there, Jack. Now, if we can go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet, she's got his name wrong. Not only is she on the wrong side of history and the wrong side of what she should be doing as a congresswoman, she doesn't even get the guy's name right.
And it's not even of the two words that make up his name. One of them's a lot trickier than the other.
She spent time. I don't even know how to say Texas. I'm not even going to try and say his name. You notice I've avoided it this entire
Yeah.
time. She definitely had to spell check that. There's no question she had to look. We want to make sure we get this right.
Jake. Ooh.
Jack. Jesus. So there we go.
Yeah. When the person defending
people.
you doesn't even know your name, it's tricky times.
That's like, that's the song to the opening credits of Cheers, isn't it?
Yeah. I love to go where nobody knows your name. At least they don't mention pegging in that theme tune, honestly.
No, that's true.
Frasier. It's more Niles, I'd imagine. But the those headlines. I love the fact that the thing. I mean, I would have actually probably pronounced it Antiwa, because you know what they're like for making things like that. He's now Antiwa, but it turns out they like it. White male Christian. So actually, she's effectively saying it doesn't matter what the crime is. White male Christian, off you go. And yet somehow would argue that there is no privilege for being white, for being male, or for being Christian.
Well, if there is, we can't talk about it at a certain Tennessee university.
No. You can't talk about it at any reputable university. So we're off to Coventry to do a small speech. I don't know why I'm picking on that. It's just not a great university, but
it's one of the. It's been around a while. It's red brick, isn't it?
I don't know. The reason I always think badly about Coventry University is when I was applying for different universities, and they're all saying how many UCAS points you needed to go and do chemistry there. You required half as many as all the rest of the universities. The number of points you needed, I'd already got by doing AS level, so I could have gone there a year early. I was thinking that's probably not the best place. I think it required 9 UCAS points.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't require that now.
No, is that system gone?
Because there's no more AS levels.
Right? Oh, is that what it is? The idea of going to study chemistry surrounded by people who aren't particularly good at chemistry is one of the biggest health and safety no-nos. I went with okay people to an okay university and still got chromium hexaoxide in the face. And that didn't affect me. So yeah, there we go. It's bizarre, isn't it, that this state secret thing. Obviously, whistleblowers are okay if you're doing it to highlight some huge injustice that's being covered, but just to show off to incels. Surely the one thing you need to do to show off to incels is just, talk about the privileged
boobies.
sex you had, the boobies you saw.
Yeah, but not the bombs. He got it wrong by just one letter.
So close.
Boobs, bombs.
So close.
She is smoking hot.
I think you need a T-shirt that says "boob, not bombs," because there should be a march somewhere, and I'm not sure what you'd be protesting for or against, but people would buy the T-shirts.
Yeah. All right. There we go. We haven't had a product launch for a while on the show, so we'll get that up on our website along with all the other things that we said that we'd sell over the years. The years that we've done this. The years.
I kind of have a final topic to close us off.
Okay.
If we're done with that one, it's not. I don't have a lot of it. Basically, I don't know if you know that my career. People were thinking my career has somewhat ended. So Late Night MASH stopped. Dave didn't renew it, so no longer am I on that show. But that's all right because I was still doing some other TV work, reviewing news, and then that kind of somewhat ended. So I'm less on TV than I've ever been before. However, I can still describe myself as a TV comedian. In fact, my posters henceforth will include the phrase, "As seen on Have I Got News for You?"
Ooh.
I'm not a guest, but if you watch this week's episode, they used a clip. So you may remember we did a special where we talked about this, where I got in a row with a lawyer. And so far, not been sued, but we'll find out. And apparently they used that clip and just played it. And I've not watched it yet because I imagine I will just cringe and probably want to die. But technically, as seen on Have I Got News for You?
Yeah.
Those words are all legally true. Obviously, it'd be massively misleading if I put that on a poster, but not my fault.
I would imagine you've got a very ethical PR person who will sort that out for you.
Yeah. But definitely that's the way forwards. But so I was out on Friday night and then started to get some messages saying, "Have I just seen you on Have I Got News for You?" And obviously I knew that I hadn't been booked for it. That stuff would have stood out in my diary. And I had that moment of thinking, bloody hell, if that LBC Steve Allen has got this, because historically our careers have mirrored each other, and by mirror I mean like his does well, mine's terrible. And then he makes a mistake, calls Tilly Ramsey fat. I get my face in the sun. I know we've covered this a lot, but I keep bringing it up because it still hurts. An entire weekend of people saying he shouldn't comment on how fat she is. Look at the state of him. He looks like a thumb was one of them. So, and I didn't comment on anyone, and yet had a weekend of people pointing out what I look like. And then I do that interview, and people are saying that host really held it together. This lawyer was angry. The host was calm, cool, and collected, and then there was a massive reveal at the end that really showed some high class presenting. Well done, Steve Allen from LBC. No. So then I thought that he'd managed to get booked on Have I Got News for You? Well, no, it turns out it was a clip of me. But I'm sure many people online are congratulating him for being on it. The thing that gets me is he's 67. Has anyone got a picture of that 67-year-old? Shows a picture of me. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you're dealing with a TV comedian now, Eric.
Well, that's the advantage of having a very... See, I've got the H in Eric. I've got the McElroy without the... It's two unique, distinct...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. I was branded effectively at birth.
I'm also thinking my next move will be to find there must be a statue of the god Apollo, and if I live there, I could put on my posters Stephen Allen live at the Apollo.
Yeah.
It's written down. People might read that wrong. It's their own stupid fault.
I believe, do you remember what the initial quote that we got for AAA was that you used on your poster for many years?
Yeah, Apollo quality emceeing or something like that.
Yeah.
It's an actual, someone said that word. Not doing me.
There you go. So you've got it. You've got the quote. That's all you need. I mean, I've got as seen on Newsnight.
Yeah, that does seem like it's halfway between as seen on proper comedy TV shows and the punchline as seen on Crime Watch. You've really half and halved it.
Yep.
Was he a comedian brought in to review a news story, or are those claims just not going away? Who knows what he's been into, but Newsnight did an investigation.
No, I actually did stand up on Newsnight because they had a competition they had a competition for the performer that was doing the best material about the Scottish referendum. And so they had a competition. And of course, this boy band from Scotland won. It was rigged. And the clip has Arthur Smith insulting me. So it was great.
Nice. Could you imagine if you'd have won the competition about Scottish independence and they gave it to this American who lives in England? Yeah,
I did imagine it. I thought I imagined it a lot, to be honest. I thought that's why I spent a whole day recording that stupid fucking clip. It was my only day off at the festival that year, and they had us in the record for 6 hours.
Really? To record like a minute's worth of stand-up or something?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
To get insulted by Arthur Smith. Yeah. It's the only time I've ever met him.
Wonder why you didn't keep in touch. Strange.
I would imagine he does not even remember it. It was not memorable.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've all had our taste of fame.
Yeah. And it's all grinding to a halt, but hey, at least we've still got this show.
Right here, and keep us going. Like, subscribe, contribute.
Yeah. Yeah, you're up to date.
Anyway, so I think we're pretty much done. We're going to be back next Tuesday, if not the Tuesday after that.
Yeah, one of those. Whichever one comes first. One of those.
Exactly.
Getting the catchphrases wrong. Sweet. So yeah, follow on the wherever you follow, and we'll do it again next time.
We'll see you then. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment. Oh baby, I feel the blues are calling. Toss willies and some love eggs. That's nasty. Maybe I seem a bit confused, but maybe I got you pegged. Messy. And I don't know what to do with those tossed willies and some love eggs. They're calling again.